Welcome to Life Under the Laundry Pile, airing it all out, one conversation at a time. This is Heather.
And Copper.
Oh, crap, I got it wrong.
This is
like Copper and Heather.
But you like how I said, and Copper.
No, you totally accepted it for what it is, so that's fine. It's all good. Whatever.
It's the holidays. We're crazy. Things are nuts. So
they are really nuts.
They really.
So, anyway... this is our show, number 17. We're going to be talking about dad bod versus mom bod.
Yep.
Before that, we should mention our website and social media stuff, and I'll let you do that.
Yep. We have the standard social media sites. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. And we have a website as well. So, first and foremost, just go find us on Facebook and that'll tell you everything you need to know.
You can find everything else from there.
So it's at Life Under the Laundry Pile podcast.
And we do most of our biz on Facebook, mostly because we're pretty lazy people.
Yeah,
so we're already there getting into everyone's business.
Though I do have to say we generate a lot of traffic, more traffic, I'm going to tell you, on Instagram and Twitter.
I agree.
We do. We have a broader reach on Twitter, and we have a lot of really nice friends on Instagram, I've noticed. A lot of fellow podcasters.
You know, and I'm going to cut in and say, I think what it is the visibility on Twitter and Instagram are easier. It's easier to see us there.
There's no stupid algorithm like Facebook.
Right.
You don't get lost in the shuffle.
If you're not looking for us, you're not going to see us. Right. On Twitter and Instagram, people look things up through hashtags. You just randomly pop up. It's much easier for people to find us there. So that's where a lot of our random...
We're gaining a little more momentum on those two sites.
Our random listeners come from those places more so than Facebook. So...
And I have to say, I've been a little slack with the Pinterest because I've discovered there's a glitch in it. You can't actually, you have to physically get on your desktop in order to post.
Yeah, Pinterest is not totally
it's not really
friendly.
user. No, it's not.
Right.
Especially not when you have more than one account. Like you can't physically log out on your phone and log back in. But I'm trying, guys. I promise. We're gonna start the new year fresh, and we're gonna have.
We have a lot of new goals for the new year, and that's one of the things is making that. Making it a more active show for you so that you can participate.
Because I know a lot of you love Pinterest. Right. I love Pinterest. That's my go-to.
Who doesn't?
That's my go-to.
Communists don't like Pinterest.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
Don't be a commie.
No, like Pinterest.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the podcast real quick. I just wanted to give a shout out, like I always do. We had a really super sweet friend who has a podcast as well. Her name's Crystal from the Middle Years podcast. And she sent us both, like, really sweet messages. So thank you, Crystal, because you said you listened to us. But I love that.
Should we tell her?
We should. Yeah, we are totally,
So, Crystal, obviously her podcast, which is really fun, and you should listen to it. She, she's just starting out. She talks about being in her 40s. So she said that she really connects with us, even though she's in her 40s.
Guess what, Crystal?
Crystal, honey, we're in our 40s.
Surprise!
We're just super, super immature people. So
there you go. That's a good way to describe it. I was thinking about how are you supposed to say?
We're idiots.
We're stupid ass kids.
Yeah. And so and however, I technically am not in my 40s yet, but I have 3 weeks.
Less than that, right?
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, it's the 29th, so I don't even know what the date is today.
Yeah, it's the 5th or something.
Something like
the
that.
5th,
so
maybe
the 6th.
6th.
It's the 6th.
Okay.
So you do the math. That's 23 days.
Yeah, and I am well into my 40s.
You are not.
I am. I won't tell you how well into it.
You look like you're 25.
I got freaking carded at Kroger this morning for a bottle of wine. Damn it.
High five,
bitches.
You gotta buy that stuff.
No,
in the box.
I didn't get carded.
Oh.
I was like, damn it.
Never mind then.
Well, I didn't realize it either until I started to put the bottle. Well, she wraps it up in the paper, and I put it in the trunk. I was like, Mother Hubbard, I didn't get carded for that shit.
Why are you buying wine in the bottle? You need to get it in the box.
It's a Christmas present.
Oh,
It is. It has to look a little fancy. You can't give
That's
a damn
true.
box.
I'd be happy with the box.
It was for my in-laws for Christmas.
That's
nice,
nice,
I'm not buying a box.
That's a good Christmas
wine.
gift. Yeah.
That and something else, which I won't tell in case they do actually listen to me. I won't tell what the other gift is. But anyway, so yeah. So thank you, Crystal.
Thank you. We adore you too.
All right.
Now that we got What's going on?
A little bit of what happened this week.
Okay, so we're coming off of Thanksgiving break.
Yep, you finally got to meet my mother.
Yes, she's awesome. We love her.
I was kind of hesitant to ask you what you thought. You're like, so much build up, and you're like, oh, I met your mom.
She is so funny and cute and adorable, and I love seeing how proud she is of you and your brother.
She is super proud. I have to tell you, when she was here, we were on a quest to, for those of you who don't know, my brother recently joined the a cappella band Home Free, and they're pretty popular and definitely rising.
I think popular is a decent term for that. They're getting to be really, really big.
They really are. Yeah. They're on TV actually today.
Right. Yes.
On the Hallmark Channel. On that, they have a show called Home and Family.
We have to make sure we put a link up so people can see that today.
Yes, we definitely will. And
because by the time you hear this, it's already going to be the night before. But
yeah, I'll put a link up to a video or something. But we went around to several Walmarts because they had a deal with Walmart, and they did a Walmart exclusive CD. And so we went to like 4 different Walmarts, and every time we would stop to talk to someone about looking for the CD, my mom just she starts fangirling almost in a way, and she starts saying, this is my son, and you really should check them out. They're awesome, and God love her, you know.
Right.
So I typically walk away because I think I'm going to let her do her thing. So, but she's actually stumbled across a couple of people that really were fans to begin with.
Right.
One of our mutual friends on Facebook actually works at the Bath and Body Works in the mall here. Yeah. And it was just really crazy. But yeah.
Well, and you know, like people, I know people that will throw up one of their videos because they really like it. I'm like, I know who that is.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the best when you can say, hey, I know them.
But it was funny. So we'll get back to Thanksgiving, but now since we're on the topic of your mom and then your brother and everything. So the Saturday after Thanksgiving, they performed in Nederland, which is very close to here, and it's actually the hometown of Tim.
Yeah, Tim Faust, who's one of the singers, one of the original singers.
And so he does this concert there every year, even though it's one of the smaller venues that they do. They still every year go home, you know, basically. So we were lucky enough to go, and we had your mom was in town, and then your friend as
my
well,
sweet friend Joan. Yeah.
And then so your mom, we got there, and we kind of had like this whole backstage-ish experience.
We got the whole package.
We really truly did, which was amazing and awesome, and so grateful for that. But your mom, when I say how proud she was, and it was fun to watch her, and she talks about us that way too.
Right.
Like, she's our biggest promoter.
Right.
We should probably pay her. I mean, if we made any money, we could. But so when they were doing the sound check, your mom and Joan sat in the seats in front of us, and then you were behind us, and I'm watching your mom, and she's taking pictures with her camera. So you have the entire group on stage, and every single picture she's zooming in on your brother, and I'm like, that is so sweet. Yeah. I don't know. I get all weepy when I think about a mom's pride.
Well, and I have to tell you, I as we sat there and watched them, I thought, you know, my stepdad, who's not with us anymore, they were hands down his biggest fan.
Right.
And he would be extremely proud to see where Adam has gone. So I agree. I know. I can see her little camera, and I can see my brother.
She kept zooming in every time.
But we did. We got to do we got to sit through the sound check, and then we got to eat dinner with them. Right. Because Tim's mom was so super sweet and cooked for them. She made like
this smorgasbord of soups that were amazing.
She did. And
I do love a soup.
So we got to eat with them, and then we got to see the show. And we went to the bathroom. Oh my God, we went to the bathroom before the show, and they have a VIP package where you can go early and meet the band and sit in the audience and ask them questions, take pictures with them. And they were outside the glass doors when Copper and I walked out to go to the lobby, and we're like, "Oh,
this is like the walk of shame."
All these people.
Like they're watching us walk to the bathroom.
They're like, "Why are you in there? Why are y'all in there? What are you doing in there?" And so we got to the bathroom. Copper's like, "Oh my God, we got to walk back out again." So we had to cross back in front of all these people, and you know they're thinking, "Girl, why is she in there and I'm not?" But we had a great time.
Yeah, we got to go on the bus, which was.
We did. We got to go on the tour bus, which was super funny. And you noticed that they had more hummus than
liquor.
I
did. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm really happy for them or sad that they have more hummus than booze in the fridge, but it's all good.
And I got to pretend to drive it, and we saw a really crazy shirt at the show, and I had to literally type this comment into my memo on my phone. Do you remember what you said?
I don't.
You said that shirt kills me. It dries me up like the Sahara Desert.
Oh, yeah.
We won't say where we saw the shirt or who was wearing the shirt, but it was...
I forgot all about that.
I'm telling you, girl, when you see me whip out my phone and start typing, I'm putting it on my memo because that way I can remember.
And I think at the time, I'm like, you got to write that down because we're not going to remember it.
I did.
It was horrible.
It was like shiny shit. I don't even know what it was.
It was not good.
It was like Liberace meets Cowboy or something. Or maybe Liberace was a cowboy.
No, that's a perfectly great...
Oh my God, why am I hearing Glenn Campbell's Rhinestone Cowboy in my head?
Crap, now I'm hearing it too.
Rhinestone Cowboy. Dum, dum.
So that was the concert, and it was great. And it was like a road trip. We had the best time driving back and forth.
I'm glad there's no video. I've already dusted my shoulder off twice, like gangsters do, and done this little dance over here.
Your mom and her handguns. So that was meeting Mom in the concert. What else happened over Thanksgiving break?
Oh my God, the best thing happened ever to me besides my mom coming in and the show. I learned how to use my silhouette machine.
Finally.
And I know, if you don't know what a silhouette machine is, which I can honestly say I probably didn't before this. I mean, I knew people did it. It makes the vinyl cutouts. Like you put on your Yetis and you put on your shirts and put on your toilet lid covers like I was thinking when I learned how. Literally, when Leslie, my sweet friend Leslie, came over to show me, and literally in like 30 minutes, I learned what I was not able to learn in 6 months. But when she walked out that door and I went to the bathroom,
you saw vinyl everywhere.
Everything in my house looked like a Target, even the cat. But I was thinking, so watch out. There's going to be vinyl everywhere. Hopefully.
Good. You should make us a vinyl for the car.
Why did that sound perverted? Vinyl everywhere. Oh, y'all can see where my mind was. I don't think
that would rub wrong.
Vinyl. Oh, what do I think? I'm thinking of Britney Spears when she wore those like rubbery pants that time.
Yes, that had to be really sweaty and uncomfortable.
I would never. I don't think ever in my entire life I've ever.
I think that we're probably past the point where we should be wearing anything of that nature.
I just feel like I'd slide. It's like slide across something if I wore, or you know how like when you wear corduroy,
yes,
when you walk, kind of like this chair,
squeaky chair.
Yeah, there you go, Matt. That was for you. I didn't realize it squeaked. That's other than that, I mean,
it was just a break. Yeah, it was nice.
It was nice. I have to say, I'm always really sad when it's over. It goes by super quick.
Right.
And as much as my kids drive me nuts when they're home, it's nice.
I like it.
It is nice. Like it's nice not having a schedule and routine.
Yes, and that's it. That's like the lack of having to be somewhere at any given point in time.
Yes, I can turn off all of my alarms on my phone. It is nice. I like it.
Although I will say the first that Monday morning, like Matt actually was home that week, barely, but he was here. Like on Monday, the first day that we were on break, he got a call saying, "Can you go out?" And he's like, "No, I can't go out." Yeah, but anyway, so we both had our alarms still set for Monday morning, and it's like, son of a bitch, we don't need to be up at 6 a.m.
Did it turn off? I mean,
we turned them off.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So they went off, and then we both turned them off. I'm like, I can't believe we forgot to do that, but the nice thing is about Thanksgiving break is even when it's over, you only have a couple weeks before we're on break again. So there's like that.
Yes.
That time is really stressful, that 3 weeks in between those two breaks. Yeah. But know that we get another 2 weeks in just a little while here. So.
And as much as I love Christmas break, I find that it's just long enough that nobody wants to go back to school.
Right.
And so they give me all blues. They give me the blues when it's time to go back.
Right.
Like I dread that day when we go back. I really
Your chair
like
is very
it.
squeaky today.
It is. It is.
Maybe it needs to be lubed.
Kind of looks like it already has been, but that's okay. Anyway,
Summer Matt screaming, "That's cupcake icing!"
We talked about it before.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's kind of all that went on.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
No, it was pretty nice. We had a nice Thanksgiving. So, anyway, Today we're talking about
dad bod versus mom bod.
Yep.
So we each have a little bit of a definition of dad bod.
Yep.
And you can do yours first.
No, tell me what Urban Dictionary says.
See, here's the deal about copper. I love Urban
it when
Dictionary.
You start talking in third person.
I know. Copper is just fantastic.
A pain.
She is the best. She gets better with every shot. I love Urban Dictionary. It's where I get all of my information from because I feel like it's the most legit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything on the internet is true. Everything. Like, if you want true facts.
And my little gangsta side comes out when Urban Dictionary is on my phone screen. when I pull it up on my Samsung, I get a little gangsta.
What are you, like Groucho Marx or something?
I don't know. So Urban Dictionary says that dad bod is, I'm just rolling over that, a guy who has kids and was once in shape, still has guns that can crush beer cans, but also with a belly that says, I drank those beers and I can eat 6 slices of pizza in one sitting.
I did see that. I did see that one as well. I did. And let me ask you first, what do you think about dad bods? And we're talking people, not buff dad bods. We're talking, serious
when you get a little soft
belly.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Right. No matter what the extent, it's soft is a good term.
Right.
So what's your take on that?
I don't know. I'm indifferent to it.
I am too. I actually prefer, and you want to know why I prefer? And I'll tell you because I read a great article that kind of nailed it for me. But this article said a dad's body appeal isn't about what it looks like, but what it says. And I think when men look like that, it tells me they're not just about themselves.
Right.
That they think about other things. It says you'll be a good dad, even though, you know what I mean? It tends to say it's not me.
Right. And that's funny that you brought that up because I actually wrote,
I'm reading your notes.
I know. Would you rather have a man with dad bod or a man who's at the gym more often than he's at
dad
home?
bod, hands down.
I would choose dad bod every time.
Absolutely. And it's really funny because I kind of have the best of both worlds.
Right.
That's about the best term I can use with my husband because he has always worked out.
Right.
But in recent time, he's gotten a little softer. He still has his muscles, but he's not so, all the time in the gym.
Right.
And I've noticed the correlation with more family time, less time at the gym.
Right.
It's just, to me, I like it better.
Right.
I do.
And I don't knock gym time. I think for a lot of people it's therapy.
Right.
But when it becomes obsessive,
right. That's the way it is.
That's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for a lot of people, gym time is their therapy.
Right.
So
it is.
I don't knock anything that makes you feel like a better person.
Well, and I think that, especially like in his case where it becomes this like all-encompassing obsession because you can see how far you can take it. But what happens is you tend to, sometimes put that before other things.
Right.
But now, I think, at least in his situation, he's found a happy medium where he can do both. And I love his body.
Right.
He's got love handles and he's soft. I'm sorry. He doesn't listen to our podcast, so I don't have to worry. But, I like that. I like that better. Maybe in my 20s, I wanted the ripped guy. But in reality, what is that? You see that ripped guy and you're thinking, you're probably a douche, really.
Probably.
If you're that vain and that's what you want to look like, you're probably a douche. And I don't want to know you. So, but, and I don't know that I ever really picked up guys that looked like that to begin with when I was in my 20s.
I don't know that there's really a lot of guys that do look like that.
I have seen a few.
Yeah, but it's an unrealistic, and to the same extent where it's really an unrealistic point of view for women as well.
Right.
For the most part, there are women that are very, very fit like that.
Right.
But for the majority of people, it's just man or woman, it's very unrealistic for your average Joe.
It is.
Or Jonette.
It is. And you want me let me tell you a little bit about what this article said because this was a great article. I read Copper and I, when we go to do our research, I noticed that we tended to hit that first page or that second page, so we kind of had duplicates. So I dug way deep to find this. And this was from 2015, but basically it said that, and it's got pictures of do women really prefer the dad bod? And it's like you said, it's a combination of muscle and mush, and it's the truth. But Look at the picture.
Do you want to know a secret?
What? Did you read this?
Yeah.
You did. You read this. It was pretty. I was literally on there for hours. But it says dad bods make girls feel less intimidated.
Right.
Because having a dude
and I think
whose body isn't David Beckham. Right. You know, and I agree. If he's got love handles, he's less likely to criticize you when you put on the freshman 15.
Right.
And I agree. There was also did you read what they said about what the dad bod says? And I should have highlighted this. I'm sorry, guys. I was doing this like 10 o'clock last night. But it says, while he doesn't have the hard body he did when he was younger, at age 45, he still looks amazing, and I'm more attracted to him than ever. But is it because he's put on a few pounds? Hardly. Because if my husband suddenly became a self-centered douche but maintained his dad bod, I guarantee I'd be quick to point out his paunchy figure while wishing for the days when he was young and hot and kind. But it says that you don't mind having, 10 slices of pizza, and you don't mind that I also sit down and eat the pizza.
Right.
I think you feel more self-conscious when you're with a really fit guy as opposed to a regular guy.
Right.
And I think it definitely just tells me he's more of a husband type, I'm trying to figure out what I was trying to say. It says you're more of a family man to me.
Right. And a lot of this is perception, and I don't know I think that's the fault of humans, and I know this is going to get a little bit more serious than I probably intend, but that's human perception. Because who's to say the guy that's really super fit is a douche?
No.
And the guy that carries a little weight could be a complete asshole and horrible to his wife and children.
And I'm sure it's the case.
And it's all perception.
It is.
And it's all perception. And that kind of falls on our line of, it becomes one of those things where I read an article about how it's almost a little bit sexist and harmful towards women that we consider this man bod situation or dad bod situation
acceptable?
Not acceptable. I think it's all acceptable. Look, the thing is it doesn't really, when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter what's on the outside. It really doesn't.
Right. No, I agree.
Because on the inside, you could be the most gorgeous person on the earth, and I'm going to be like, you're a horrible person.
Right.
The things that come out of your mouth.
Right.
You're awful, so this all that I can see disappears.
Right.
But it's this whole thing where dad bod is socially acceptable, and there's, this whole movement, especially the last couple of years, where it really has always been acceptable.
Yeah.
Why is that the case? And then mom bod is always something that people tend to nitpick on.
And can we talk about? Can we go to that?
Yes.
Because
that
one hit a nerve with me really bad. I fell down the rabbit hole with this one, and I'll tell you at the end. Don't let me forget with what I sent you. But I have a real hard time with this one because when I started Googling the mom bod, there were articles because I guess last year about the same time it kind of went crazy. BuzzFeed did a list. And I can put the link up, but BuzzFeed did a list, and it had 35 Instagram pictures of #mombods, and unfortunately, as of last night, 12 of them have been deleted, and that to me speaks volumes. That shows me that yes, they were proud of it at the time. But something happened along the way, and they were embarrassed, and they felt the need to take those pictures down.
Or some jerkwad complained because it wasn't...
told them they were fat, told them they were nasty, whatever. And it really pissed me off. Like, when I noticed that, I was like, holy cow.
Right.
So I did a little digging, and I thought, I'm just going to hashtag and find my own pictures on Instagram. Well, when I hashtagged it, I noticed that a lot of the mom bods, #mombods women, they're the ones that have a six-pack, It was overwhelmingly women at the gym, women who were proud that they had a nice body after mom.
As you
absolutely.
Should be,
But to me, it was a little sad because
that's what we consider.
We've lost that and ironically, one of the #mombod was the weightlifting, the gym, the six-pack ab pictures. The hashtag for dad bods was overwhelmingly a mix of glasses of beer, plates of food, dads who look like dads, And then a good portion was the weightlifting.
Right.
But more of those hashtags were the real dad bod.
Right.
Which I thought was crazy.
It's a true insight to our society and how we view things.
And what's really crazy, there's even a hashtag for mom bod no more, which really, really kind of pissed me off. Mom bod no more. Really?
Right.
So you're saying mom bods are bad? I mean, there were almost 2,000 hashtags with that, which is not a lot, but the fact that it exists kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because I'm pretty proud, to have a mom bod.
My belly is always going to be soft, and it's because I've had 3 babies.
Absolutely. And that's what a lot of people said. To have a mom bod, it shows strength, not weakness. And I think that a lot of people forget that, And a lot of women, unfortunately, have tons of stretch marks, and they're so embarrassed about them. And that you shouldn't.
And men get them too. And these are people that not only people that have had children, but people that haven't. You can have stretch marks, without having children. You can be a little pudgy before you have children.
Right.
So that whole dad bod and mom bod thing, it should be more generalized versus men versus women. But I don't view a little bit of pudginess as I see you as someone who, English is such a hard language. I view it as someone that enjoys a drink, that enjoys life.
Exactly.
Yes, embraces all of these things.
Exactly. But that's like you were saying, that's kind of the double standard. When people see an out of shape girl, they think, oh, she's lazy and and that's just bullshit. I think, I'm not spending my entire life watching everything I put in my mouth and obsessing that, I don't look like the models on TV or in a magazine.
Don't get me wrong, I love salad, but you know what else I like? Chicken wings.
Yeah.
And cheese.
I think, to me, I think mom bod, dad bod, I think they kind of boil down to, I can enjoy my life and not obsess about, other things like that. And I don't know about your husband, but my husband feels this way. I read that more men these days actually like curvy, plump women. Or as my husband says, more cushion for the pushing.
Well, I can tell you this. Matthew's not a complainer about me. Yeah. So
Lloyd loves women with meat on their bones.
Right.
He thinks Ashley Graham. Do you know who Ashley Graham is?
Yes.
She's beautiful. She is.
Yes.
He thinks she is so hot. He says, the skinny women just don't. He said, it looks like you're going to break them in half.
Right.
And so I like that movement. That I like that society is kind of and you do read a lot of nasty comments still on those women. Nasty about you're out of shape. I think that's sad that they associate.
And I think here's the
out of shape.
The overall picture to take from this is, if you're happy,
that's right.
That's what matters.
Right.
There's
happy and healthy.
Happy and healthy.
Let's interject that.
And if there's people that there's always going to be someone that finds you attractive. I mean, if that's really something that concerns you,
right?
If when you look in the mirror, your concern is, are these people going to like the way I look? First of all, you should not do that, because who cares?
Well, there's always going to be someone who doesn't like you no matter what.
Right. So that skinny girl or that skinny guy that someone might look at and be like, oh no, that's not enough meat. There's somebody that's going to find you attractive. And hopefully some of that's going to do with what's coming out of your mouth.
Right.
Versus what your body looks like. But the whole thing is it doesn't, we're all different shapes and sizes. So it doesn't really matter. But there's definitely this hypocrisy.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Say it for me, please. Hypocrisy. I can't.
There's a definite divide between
right.
Yeah.
When a guy has a man bod or dad bod, it's,
okay.
It's okay.
Right.
Or at the very least, it's kind of one of these things that we
don't mind.
We kind of joke about, and it's funny or it's silly, and we really don't truly mind it.
Right.
But as a whole, even though maybe our spouses wouldn't say anything, when someone has a mom bod, as a whole, people see that and they're like, somebody needs to run more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like someone's not taking care of herself. Why is that the case?
Yeah. No, I agree. Why is it okay for the guy to look like he's a nurturer and a provider because he has, gotten soft, but it's not the same with a woman?
Right.
When in fact, it really is. That's usually the case. Is you put your kids before you do.
And also, as you get older,
yeah,
things start to go to shit.
They do. They do. Absolutely. I don't care who you are.
That's just life, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Your metabolism, your skin, everything, it starts to just go right down the crapper.
Yep. But, you know, I this one really kind of, the deeper that I dug really shocked me. Right. I was shocked.
Right.
Because I remember vaguely the article, but I didn't really, like, read it.
Right.
But once I started reading everything, and I was like, holy cow, you know. And there were even a few nasty articles saying that, you know, it was all, both sides were nasty, basically.
Right.
Which, shame on them.
Right.
You know, that's what's wrong. Part of what's wrong with the world today is the fact that, you know, we're so stuck on appearances.
I agree.
You know, we need,
you know, I'm very cautious with that because I think it boils down to sometimes like I don't ever want my kids to see that that's something that's okay to do, you know.
Right, absolutely.
Because that's not what you should, that's not how you should view people.
No, absolutely not. You know, I always thought the voice, that show The Voice, is brilliant because you're getting to...
Oh, they start by turning around, right?
Yes,
so they can't see.
They hear them before they see them.
Right.
Because probably like 80-90% of what we process comes from what we see.
Right.
And I always thought, we need a dating site like that. I tell my sister-in-law that all the time. You need a dating site where you meet someone just by talking instead of seeing them.
Right.
It's kind of like a blind date in reverse, I guess. I don't really know. I said, but it's brilliant.
Right.
So...
Well, and as far as that goes, and this is going off topic a little bit, I have not been in the dating world in a very, very, very long time. 93 to be exact. But I always tell the single people in my life, I'm like, you get too hung up on what you think you find attractive.
Yes. That's what I told my sister-in-law.
You know who you are, so I won't call you out. We've had this conversations many a times. This person is very near and dear to me. She is single, which first of all, she rocks the single thing. I love her to death, and I like seeing her happy, and I think she is single too. But she's happy as a single person. But whenever she's been dating, she'll, you know, oh, he's just not my type. He's not my type. And it's like, well, how do you know? I mean, like, honestly, you have this idea of what you find attractive, but that might be your soulmate right there, and you're knocking them off because they have, I don't know. I mean, this is being really shallow, but blonde hair.
Right.
You're like, no, I would never date someone with blonde hair.
Right.
How do you know that person might be your soulmate? Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, when you're older, you ain't gonna have any hair anyway.
Yeah, right.
So, are you still gonna have things to talk about?
No, I totally agree.
Right.
I think it's really sad because I think a lot of experiences are missed because people are quick to judge the outside appearance and not get to know the person. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
This is kind of a sad topic. And I thought that too when I was reading up on it. I'm just like the whole thing, and I love me a good dad bod.
Yeah.
And I think for me the biggest example of it, and his name is escaping right now. He was on Parks and Recreation, and then he's the guy. He's Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I have no idea what either of those even are.
Oh my God, you have to get out of your house.
Who? What's his name?
His name, see, this is where things bite me in the ass. I put my phone down.
You not write it down?
No, because I just happened to think of it. Smart Alec.
I can look if you want. Smart Alec. What are you monitoring your cursing? You smart Alec girl. What do you think you're doing here?
Get off my lawn, you hooligans.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, we had stickers that smelled like strawberries.
Oh, we did. We had Garbage Pail Kid stickers too.
Yes, awesome. Those were awesome. Chris Pratt.
Who? Oh.
So in
that he does not have a dad bod.
Well, no, this is where he shaped up for this movie, and it was this whole big thing where he was...
he's married to Anna Faris, I think.
Yes, who is also one of the most adorable people on this planet.
I do know that.
So he used to be on the show, which was a really, really funny show, and I loved it, Parks and Recreation. He was more dad bod there.
Okay.
And then he really shaped up for, this series and really as a whole. But there's this whole thing on how he's a great example of the two extremes, and... there's always this huge argument on him, which one is better.
Right.
So I think he's delightful either way. I adore him. And I don't even find him, he's attractive. Yeah. He's very cute, but I love his, and again, it comes down to
personality.
His personality is so funny, and he's such a good, and like, I think if I met him on the street, we could be friends. Like, he's just got that
And I can't tell you how many people that I know personally and that I've met over the years that their personality was stellar, amazing.
Right.
But did they have it in the looks department? Absolutely not.
To you, though.
Right.
That's the point. They didn't have the looks for you.
But their personality alone would have been enough.
Right.
For me. You know what I mean? Like, I worked with a guy years ago back in Mississippi, and he had the most amazing personality. And I'm sure to this day he's a phenomenal husband.
Right.
But he was, as you say, not my type at all.
And that's why I think you have to be careful because, what you don't find attractive might be totally different for another person.
Absolutely. And to kind of wrap this little portion up, like I said, as we all do, I fell down the rabbit hole on Instagram. And
Are we going to talk about him? I adore him. I do too. I'm going to follow him. I love someone that can have that type of sense of humor about themselves.
Oh, let me just say, I won't say the name of it. If Copper wants to share it with you all, she can. But when I hashtagged the dad bod, he popped up, like literally popped up on the feed. And he's pretty hairy, which I don't know if I've ever said it, but I love hairy like a bear.
He's hairy like a bear. I mean, there's just hair everywhere. I love hairy men.
He had really long hair. He had the long beard. His chest was hairy, which I love a hairy chest. It says man to me, macho. Which is probably good for you, Matt, right?
Okay, yes, yeah.
It was quite I don't even know how I felt looking at his feed. It was...
What he does is he takes all these pictures, and they're the kind of like poses...
Women pictures.
Yeah, they're like poses you would expect out of a woman, but it's him.
And his hairy gloriousness.
And I think it's all done in...
hairiness.
And it's all done in jest, right? I mean, like, he's not serious about this.
I think he's serious. I do. I scrolled through as I, of course...
I didn't look at any comments.
I did. And, yeah.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
I didn't know that. It's really scary. Super scary.
I thought he was amazing. I want to be his friend.
I
mean, I prefer not to see any of that, but I want to be his friend.
It was full rear.
Oh, yes.
Nudity.
Yeah.
And he was working it, too. Let's just say, I hope he doesn't have windows that are open to any small kids. He was a perfect
example of someone that was owning what he has.
Hell yeah, he was.
But okay, we're not going to get the name. But I was going to say, don't ever look it up when your kids are around. Not that you could ever see, like, anything. There's hints of things, but there's not.
Oh, his ass is out.
Well, my ass is always out.
Well, my ass goes everywhere with me, but are we talking about people? Are we talking about the...
No.
Never mind.
Bum. Anyway.
So yeah. Yeah, that damn internet, that's a rascally rabbit. You fall down that hole, man. Every time. You're over here looking, like when you're on Pinterest, you're over here looking for like brownie recipe. And then 3 hours later, you're over here and you find these hairy men on Instagram. It's like, what the hell? Where did that, how did I don't even know.
I wouldn't question it.
How, it's like train of thought, but like internet style.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, the shit I end up looking at.
I think that my patterns on the internet are very much a mirror to the patterns that go on in my head. Like how
mine too.
In my head I can easily go from a brownie recipe to a big hairy man.
Yes.
Yeah, so
absolutely. Yeah. I can too.
It's like a baby bunny rabbit on coke up here. Yeah. I can't. Yeah, my brain is not focused in any way, shape, or form. In case you've noticed.
Yes.
All right. So I think that was pretty much.
I think that is it in a nutshell. For
you know what, the lesson we learned here is you own your stuff no matter what.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
And I think you should definitely always give a person a chance because outside appearances, like you say, they will fade. Looks fade.
Yeah. And
I think it's sad to judge someone based on the fact that they might have a few pounds on them. You know,
a few.
Super sad. Super sad. Don't do it. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, next week we are going to talk about our favorite things. It's our Christmas episode.
Which things. Sorry.
I hope we don't have to have license for any of these, like we did Rhinestone Cowboy and then that.
Oh, please. We're good. It's me singing. Who's gonna even tell on me? Because I don't even know. What the hell, but
next week's episode is our last episode of the year. We're going to take the rest of the year off. It's break time. It's Christmas time. We want to be with our kids. And we're going to come back with a bang.
Strong.
After the first of the year. So, however, next week is going to be our Christmas episode. We're going to talk about what we're up to. And then we're going to go over our list of our favorite things for the holidays and the list that we got from our listeners, which is wonderful. You guys did a great job.
Yes.
So
we'll can't wait to share it. Can't wait to share it.
And while we're at it, let's talk about what else should we talk about?
Don't forget we have our own personal website.
Yes.
Copper is what?
We never talked about shaving. We even made a note that we were going to talk about it. We didn't talk about it.
It must have been your notes. I didn't see it. We talk often about shaving. and body hair.
Yeah.
And in fact, our funny friend Janelle finds it very comical how we're total opposites from her. Let's just put that. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But what were you going to say?
I was going to say the other thing about, we were talking about how the and this is totally off subject and we're going to cover this really quickly, but the
double standard.
The double standard of, we talked about men being hairy over and over again, and that's totally
it's okay. Cool. Especially nowadays, it's super cool.
Right. Like, why is it looked down upon that, like, if a woman doesn't shave her legs?
Yeah, absolutely. Or her pits, which...
Right.
Sorry.
No, I do have to do that.
I do. I
shave. That's on me. That's not on, that's not society's choice that I have to do that. That's just a comfort thing for me.
Then I think you should stop shaving not you, but I think people should stop shaving their face. Like, stop waxing their mustache as a woman.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can make that movement happen.
Do it.
What do you think? So all you women out there that wax that mustache, just let it go for a while. See if we can make a movement.
Right.
We can make a hashtag.
I'm making a movement with my legs right now. They're
just
furry.
don't make a movement near me, because you know how I am about leg hair. I hate leg hair.
It's like I braid them.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had that girl in my class one time in college, art class, one of my art classes. She did not shave her legs. Her hair was so long, I think I could have braided it. I didn't know hair could grow that long on your legs. And she wore skirts.
Because you are a pasty white blonde person. Of course that hair doesn't grow that long on you.
Yeah, no, seriously. It probably does on my arms, but you can't see it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Anyway, that was totally off subject, but I thought that was something that we need to cover and something for you to think about why it's okay, when men don't shave. We're like, oh, how cute, he has a beard, but a woman doesn't shave, and everyone goes...
But when a woman has a beard, it's suddenly not cute.
Right, like, why?
I know.
Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about, social, or our own website.
Our own websites. Yeah. Copper is neverdrinkfrommommiescup.com, and I am onefedupmommy.com, which these days I find it takes on new meaning.
Oy vey, don't even get me started. The frustration lately. It's just that pressure of, there's too much going on right now.
It is.
They can't behave. No. So much yelling.
And I like to enjoy the holidays, but sometimes it gets away from me.
Right.
So... we'll talk about that next week.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. Everyone have a great week. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.